I'm going to show you how to vibe code from scratch an articulate rise style e-learning micro lesson using V0 by Vercel and Grok by xAi. In this video, I will show you one of the potential ways, and there are many options for each of the steps to vibe code and host an e-learning microcourse articulate rise style from scratch. Overview. We will discuss basics and terminology. Then we'll go over the tools we're going to use, the steps to build our microcourse, and also deploying to the web. You can watch this video in its entirety, or you can skip around to the part that you find most useful or interesting. So the tools we're going to use are Grok for course creation, for text and images. And here you can use Gemini from Google, you can use ChatGPT from OpenAI, you can use Claude from Anthropic. All of them are fantastic options. I'm just going to use Grok because it's something a little different and unique. We're going to use V0 by Vercel to create and vibe code our course right in the browser. Then we're going to push our code into GitHub repository, and we're going to host our e-learning course with Vercel because it makes it really easy to deploy just from your GitHub repo. Before we go ahead and start building, let's go over some basic key terms and definitions so that we know what we're talking about. You might have heard the term vibe coding thrown around a lot, and we're actually going to go down to who originated the term and exactly what it means, just so that we're on the same page. So Andrej Karpathy, who is one of the leading figures in AI, he was the head of AI at Tesla for 5 years. He also, I believe, was an early either founding member or one of the earliest employers in OpenAI. So he really knows his stuff. He coined the term vibe coding in a post on February 2nd, 2025, describing it as programming approach where you fully give in to the vibes. You embrace exponentials and forget that code even exists. So it involves using large language models like Cursor Composer with Anthropic Claude Sonnet to generate code based on natural language prompts, often via voice commands with tools like Super Whisper. Karpathy explains that it is a casual, iterative process where developers describe what they want. Example given, decrease the padding on a sidebar by half and accept AI-generated code without even reviewing the diffs, and troubleshoot by copy-pasting error messages back to the AI. So the idea of vibe coding is that you don't actually sit there and code. You just tell AI what to do, and you don't even bother with looking into the code. You literally just give into the vibes, and whatever it creates is what it creates. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And we're going to basically recreate and articulate Rise style micro lesson completely from scratch, including what the actual course is. So what is AI and how long has it been around? You might be thinking, oh, it's 5 years old, OpenAI. It's actually been around since the 50s, and the term was coined at Dartmouth Conference in 1956 that was led by John McCarthy and others who envisioned machines mimicking human intelligence. So the whole idea of artificial intelligence is that it mimics human intelligence. Early AI focused on symbolic reasoning and rule-based systems like expert systems in the 80s, but progress was limited really by computational power and data scarcity. We just didn't have enough data to really make that feasible. And also the computers and CPUs and GPUs just really were not fast enough. And this is where NVIDIA really accelerated the field, and which is why they're ahead of everyone else, is that they use GPU that was originally used for graphic chips that can be ran in parallel, unlike CPUs that are serial. And basically that really made the computational power for AI and processing possible. So go NVIDIA. The field surged in the 2010s with advances in machine learning, particularly deep learning, fueled by big data, powerful GPUs, right? Those are the graphic processing units, and algorithms like neural networks. So this enabled breakthroughs in image recognition, natural language processing, and applications like self-driving cars and virtual assistants. So today, AI spans decades of evolution, transforming industries while raising ethical questions with this modern era driven by data and computational leaps. So AI has been around for, gosh, 75 years, right? And yeah, so there's definitely big breakthroughs that has happened in the last 20 years. You've also heard, oh, just ChatGPT this, ChatGPT that, but most people probably won't actually be able to tell you what it means. So GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. And it's a type of AI model developed by OpenAI. It refers to a neural network architecture designed for natural language processing, capable of generating human-like text by predicting the next word in a sequence based on vast amounts of pre-training data. The term generative highlights its ability to create content, where pre-trained indicates it's trained on large data sets before fine-tuning. And the transformer refers to the underlying model structure that uses attention mechanism to process language efficiently. So a little side note on this. This is really kind of ironic because the transformer is really the key word here. So GPT, generative pre-trained transformer, is really what made this possible. And basically, it's actually a paper. It's a white paper that was really developed and made public by Google. So, and the title of the paper was "Attention is All You Need," where basically, instead of relying on the neural nets that have been around, they basically developed a way to get attention of what the probability of the next word is instead of really complicated nets, but really it's just a statistical problem. Not describing this very well, but essentially Google did the research and then they kind of just sat on it. And then OpenAI with Sam Altman and Elon Musk really kind of pushed the idea to take it a step further, and OpenAI really kind of just ran ahead of everyone else, and now everyone else is playing catch up, including Google, who actually made this ChatGPT possible. It was this transformer architecture, where essentially I guess the entire AI system is trained on the entirety of the open web, and instead of relying on some complicated nets, it's basically trying to predict and give probabilities to which words are important and what statistically is the next word that will be. And that's how, in a really crude explanation, how these large models are able to basically mimic human intelligence. Another word you'll see a lot is LLMs. LLMs are large language models. It's an advanced type of artificial intelligence model, typically based on the transformer architecture, and is trained in vast data sets to understand and generate human-like language. LLMs such as this powering chatbots or text generation tools excel in tasks like answering questions, summarizing content, and creating coherent text by predicting word sequences. They leverage massive computational resources and diverse data to capture linguistic patterns, enabling versatile applications, but require significant energy and careful handling to mitigate biases and inaccuracies. So these large models, whether it's OpenAI's ChatGPT, whether it's Grok, whether it's Claude by Anthropic, or whether it's Llama by Meta, they all have these parameters of basically statistics and probabilities with the attention of which words are important in the billions. It's really quite incredible that these models have billions and billions of they're called weights, right? And it's basically just statistically probable words that are more important and are more likely to be what the user is talking about. So what is a good way to think about LLMs and GPTs and AI that we're going to be using for building our microcourse? So large language model and AI, as described by Andre Karpathy, can be thought of as zip files. So again, this is directly from Andre Karpathy, explanation of how basically GPTs work and all of this AI infrastructure. So he's really kind of like one of the leading edge people. So he really knows his stuff. And he says that basically they compress vast amounts of data into probabilistic models, enabling generative outputs. So essentially, these large models, they're trained on the entirety of the open web. And they basically just compress all that data into probabilities. And based on those probabilities, whatever you input in the chat box, it basically gives you back, and they generate most statistically likely answers that you want, right? So they predict the next word or sequence based on learned patterns, and they produce human-like text or code as seen in Karpathy's vibe coding approach, where AI generates code from casual prompts, which is exactly what we're going to do. And however, LLMs can be, they can hallucinate, and they inventing plausible but incorrect information due to their reliance on statistical patterns and rather than true understanding. So this makes them powerful yet fallible tools, ideal for creative prototyping tasks, but required oversight to catch errors and fabrications. So what Andre says is that you really should think of them as general and probabilistic. So just keep in mind that these are not tools that have unique understanding of what the user is asking, but really just it's a statistical model. So a lot of times it will make things up, and this is where using AIs and LLM can be very tricky. You really have to know where they are fallible. There's all kinds of things like really sensitive code being leaked by users who are not careful using these AI tools. There's also lawyers that have been disbarred because they kind of didn't do their own research and let these AI models, basically they hallucinated um, legal precedents and legal cases that just didn't exist. So be really careful. Just know that these will make things up, and you really have to check all of your work. And kind of a side note is that all of these chat boxes, whether it's Grok from xAi or ChatGPT from OpenAI or Claude, they all say check important work. Some of them have different language, and the language has changed. But the idea is that you really need to check very important work and also be careful about putting sensitive information. We're going to be using Grok. And what does Grok mean? It basically, and this is again what Grok told me, right? Grok comes from Robert A. Heinlein's science fiction novel Stranger in a Strange Land, with the term Grok means to deeply understand something. So my creators at xAi chose this name to reflect my purpose, helping users gain deeper understanding of the universe and the world around them, right? So to grok something means to really, really understand it. All right, so now we're going on to our plan for creating an e-learning course from scratch and not relying on any platforms like Articulate Rise. So first, we're going to decide the course topic that we're building. I already did some work here, so we'll get to this. We're going to come up with modules, text, and activities. We're going to build a course outline. We're going to test everything. We're going to download the files. We're going to create the GitHub repo. We're going to push all these docs via our terminal, if you're on a Mac, into GitHub, and then we're going to deploy with Vercel via GitHub repo. All right, now, before we move any further, also there's some very important principles that we need to discuss. So these are just general principles when working with AI and LLMs and vibe coding especially that are very important to keep in mind. You don't want to give them just one big task and say, hey, go and do this for me. It's going to hallucinate. It's going to make up a lot of stuff, and it's not really going to be what you want. So the key here is break tasks, into smaller, specific prompts instead of one large request. So as this yields better results and save time on your corrections. So if you just say, hey, create this course for me, it's just basically going to make stuff up and it's not going to be what you need, even if you give very detailed instructions. The better way to work with AIs is just to always have a outline yourself that you create first, and then you kind of just chip away with small tasks and prompts step by step. And then that makes it also really easy to change the prompt, go back and say, hey, fix this or redo this. All right, so just make sure you're thinking small tasks, and you'll see this in action as we build our course. Make sure you plan thoughtfully with engaging with AI. Ask it probing questions like, can we enhance this, or is this optimal approach to refine outputs and make learning more interactive? If you just say, do this for me, and you think of it as your, I guess that's step number 3. So I guess let's get to that, right? So treat AI as a collaborative partner, not a subordinate, using it to boost your creativity and understanding for exponentially improved outcomes. So I guess you can tie these two together. And the idea here is, you can just say, hey, do this for me, and it will do that, but it's probably not going to be what you want. You will really get 10x results and a lot more creativity and much just elegant and better problem solving if you think of AI as really your collaborative partner, where you can probe it like, hey, can we improve this? Is this the best way to describe this? Is this engaging? How can we make this more engaging? So those kind of probing questions where you're really just kind of working with it, and you're trying to have it use its entire kind of study of the open web and all of the human knowledge per se, more or less, and to really just give you some ideas, right? So it's much better to create with it and not just have it say, hey, do this. So you will really come up with a lot of really interesting solutions, interesting takes on problems, interesting ways to describe stuff that really just you yourself would not most likely come up with by yourself. So just treat it as a partner instead of just your subordinate to get things done. You will create great results, and also anticipate the need for debugging and refinement, as AI, despite its power, may generate errors or misinterpret intent. Allocate sufficient time for testing and fixing before finalizing any project, ensuring reliability through validation. So this is where, if you think that AI will replace jobs, at least not in the near term at all, because it really struggles with intent. And you really, whether you're just creating a short text or creating a much more a bigger project like we're doing here, you really have to anticipate that there's going to be a lot of issues, a lot of bugs, a lot of things not working. You'll see as we create this course, it will do things for us and then we'll click on things and nothing will happen. So you have to kind of debug and you have to solve problems and you kind of have to work with it to establish that. But on the flip side, if you're just a lone programmer or a lone learning and development specialist, or you're an instructional designer, you really wouldn't be able to do this to such an extent from scratch by yourself in a weekend, as a side project. You really would need a team of programmers and creative designers. So this does take a lot of effort. AI is not going to replace jobs, but it is going to boost your productivity if you know how to use these tools, and as you'll see in our demonstration here. All right, so the course topic, I did a little bit of research on this and basically made a few decisions just so we keep things moving. The course we're going to create from scratch with vibe coding is AI Fundamentals for Non-Technical Teams. So basic concepts and terminology to help all employees understand AI discussions. So this is probably step one. If you're a large legacy company, you've been around for a while, there's certain ways of getting things done. There's certain things, certain appropriate flows to how get things done. And before, you say we're AI first, or, we're AI now company, or we use AI, before you get to that step, you really have to make sure everyone's on the same page and we're all using the same language. So this kind of topic would be very useful for a company that's going through that transition, just to make sure that everyone is on the same page. And, when I say LLM, you know what that means. If we're talking about hallucinations, you know exactly what that means, why it's happening. And you also know that, just how to work with, um, with these tools and really not spend more time fixing things, but actually increase your productivity. All right, so we're going to jump right in, and we're going to, let's see, this is some outlines that we made. Let's see, these are the steps. So we're going to start first, we're going to create a course. All right, so we are going to go to Grok. Okay, so this is Grok. You just go to https //Grok with a K. There is another company that's in AI that is Grok with a K instead of with a Q instead of a K. That company is more about inference, and it's not really what this Grok is. So when we say Grok, we mean Grok, which is by xAi. All right, so we have our course topic, right? So AI fundamentals, okay? And again, this is where we're going to take it step by step. However, prompting here is really important. So the founder of Vercel, which is really on the leading edge of how to deploy things on the web, how things work on the web, and really just an incredible company, the founder, Guillermo Rauch, he said that new literacy is prompting, and he's absolutely correct. If you put garbage into ChatGPT or any kind of AI LLM system, you will get garbage out. So I guess from the 90s and 80s, a very popular coding term was garbage in, garbage out. Same thing with prompting. If you put garbage in as a prompt, you will get garbage out. So prompting really is the new literacy and really, really important. So we have our topic. We're going to go here and we're going to start typing. Now, if you recall, when we're talking about vibe coding, Andre says that he doesn't even, the whole idea of vibing is you don't even type. You just use Super Whisper, where basically you can talk to your computer and it basically records, turns it into text, and you don't have to push send. You just talk to it and it does things. Right here, we're going to type just so that you could see better. So we're going to start with, I am creating a micro e-learning course from scratch. I'm creating a micro e-learning. Let's learn how to spell learning course from scratch. Scratch. I can't spell it. From scratch. Replicating, articulate, rise, style course. Okay. Here is my topic. All right. Now, if you just simply press enter, it's going to push your prompt into the chat box. To prevent that, you press shift, enter, 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 and that's going to push your line. So it's very annoying when you type part of your first part, you push it through, and then it starts giving you things before you're ready. So if you are never done this before, you basically just hold shift and enter, and that pushes you to the next line. All right. So we're step one is we're telling Grok what we are doing. 2, we're telling it topic. All right. Now it's very important to give it some limitations and some guardrails, right? If we just say do this, it's going to basically come up with whatever it thinks is best and not necessarily what we need to do. So we have the topic. We say, let's take this step by step. Okay. Create sequential sequential 5-module outline. And then we're going to say in bold, in capital, do not create the course yet. Only give me outline for an engaging 5-module online eLearning micro course in style of articulate rise. Okay, so you'll notice that we are iterating. We're kind of repeating a lot of things here, right? So we're telling it what we're doing, right, from scratch. Okay. We're trying to replicate something, right? And the reason is I just thought it would be fun to kind of vibe code, articulate rise style course. You'll obviously notice that if you wanted to create this course in articulate rise, it would be way, way, way faster. But let's say, you don't want to do that, or let's say you want some custom features that articulate rise does not offer, and you have a little bit of either time in your hand and grit to figure this out and learn some coding fundamentals, or let's say, you are a developer and you want to integrate something new and innovative, and it's just not part of articulate rise course creation. So you kind of go the hard route of creating your own course, right? And also this is just fun to show what the tools currently at in June of 2025 can do, right? So we gave it our topic. We said take the step by step. So this is kind of a lot of people that work with AIs have said this really helps them to get better results. Is instead of saying go ahead and create this for me, to say do this step by step. We said that also now we gave create sequential, right, 5-module outline. Do not create the course yet, only give me outline. So we're making sure it knows that before we create any modules, any work, we just want to see the outline. Again, this is going back to the best practices for working with AIs and LLMs and GPTs is to make sure you break things down into smaller tasks, right? So we're not just saying create this course for me. We're saying, hey, do this, just the outline. This is what I want. And let's see what happens. Okay, so all right, so it's thinking, it's pushing stuff out. All right, so so again, this is where you have to iterate a lot, right? It's not just going to give you perfect results. So we're going to see what it comes up with. And just for fun, excuse me, we're going to ask it to change some things. All right, course outline, AI fundamentals for non-technical teams. Module 1, introduction to AI. I like that, right? So I have to know what it is. AI, what does it mean? Key concept, brief history, world applications, business, engagement, quiz, scenario-based examples. All right, I like that. Core AI concepts and terminology, neural networks, algorithms. Okay, AI, ML, deep learning, supervised, unsupervised learning, drag and dropped, matching activity, animate explainer video. Like that. How AI works in everyday tools, chatbots, recommendation systems. Okay. AI organization. Okay, so I like this interactive case study for an AI familiar workplace tool, AI in your organization, how AI is in your industry, company, opportunities, challenges, collaborations. Okay, future of AI. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. One thing that I really would love to see in a course like this is some mention of AI safety. So, for example, you would not want to put your social security into the AI. You wouldn't want trade secrets to put in here. You would not want to ever put let's say some kind of really key sensitive business information into AI and say, hey, help me with this problem. If your business has already using AI, most likely they have guardrails and they have certain security features, but we want to mention that. So instead of, let's see, where would that be? I feel like module 1 and module 2 is module 1 and module 2 could be kind of combined, and I would like to make module 2 more about safety. So let's do this. Please iterate above, right? Combine concepts of module 1 and 2 into module 1. And it's not super important that you're correct in typing because it's really good at figuring out what you want, but it's still better to, I just like to fix if I can. Uh, Combine concept 1 and 2 into module 1 and make module 2, AI safety. Safety, please include things like never sharing trade secrets, or personal ID info. All right, and then also we're going to be specific. We're going to say, please iterate and give me full 5 module outline again. Okay, so let's see what it comes up with. All right, so, okay. All right, so I like this a lot better. So now we have introduction and core concepts. What is AI, what it means, brief history, and then quiz. I like that. Animated video, I'm not sure. We'll see. I don't think Grok can create videos, but we're going to see. We're probably going to change it to just some kind of text. Not text, I'm sorry, for some kind of graphic. Safety and ethical tools. Ensure safe and responsible like that. Personal ID, avoiding bias in AI, ethical considerations. Good. Everyday tools, your organization, and future. Okay. Love it. Okay. Let's see. How do we go back here? Okay. So basically just created a markdown course in an MD. MD just means markdown. So markdown is essentially very simple text that AIs and LLMs can interact with much better. So, for example, if you tell AI to go visit a website and it has a bunch of buttons it has to click and there's a bunch of hidden info, that's not really ideal for how AIs interact with information. It's much better just to give it like an MD file, or also if you have coding, just like a JSON file with some basic info. But okay, so I like this. Okay, that's good. Okay, great. So now that we have our outline, we will say, okay, great. Let's take module by module approach. Okay, and please create fleshed out module 1. Uh, and we're going to say, keep in mind, right? Recreate and suggest, articulate, rise, functionality, right? So we need text, functionality, and we'll say text, flip cards, sorting activities. What else? What else is there popular, right? Sorting activities, let's see, text, flip cards, sorting activities, quizzes, choose best response, and we'll say etc. etc. Okay. Module approach. Okay. Start with module 1. Okay. All right. So we have our outline. And actually, to make things a little bit easier, we're going to. Okay. So it actually started to. Okay, we're going to stop it. So we're not going to have Grok create this text for us because then there's nothing really we can do here, although it does give us a preview. So actually, I did not realize that it could do that. We're going to do it in Vercel because it'll make it easier for us to deploy later. Okay, so will be nice. I apologize. Only give me text. I will create the micro course in the 0 by Vercel. Okay. All right, so here we go. Okay, so we're going to close this. We're going to see what it comes up with. Okay, so here's where we're going to ask it why it, what it suggests for us to create a video. I do want everything here for this micro course to be from scratch, so we're not going to use any existing information. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. So you notice how this is quite a lot of text, right? Like this is already pretty big. Imagine if we just said, hey, create this, 5 module thing. It would just be a ton of text. And honestly, it would just be really easy to get lost. So here, oops, where are we? History, there we go. So here it is. What I do want to do is I want to take our outline and just for, we're gonna copy here, again, just for our, we're gonna create a new doc. Let's see, we want docs, right there we go, docs. Okay, we're gonna create new, and we're just gonna paste. So this is our outline. And we're just going to flip this around. Okay. All right. So it's kind of like just, I like keeping things in Google Doc as well. It's just easy to have everything there in one place. All right. So we have our outline, and here is our module 1. No, let's see. Okay. So I think, okay. No, okay. Where did my text go? Okay. We're gonna make it stop. Okay. Please only, I'm not sure where it went, but please only provide text for module one, as I will build with easier by Vercel. Okay, I'm not sure what happened. There we go. Okay, so all right, so module 1, introduction to AI and core concepts. Module 1, discover AI matters. Okay. All right. All right, so it has, okay, nice. All right, so it started with what is artificial intelligence? Okay, a little background. I like that. It touches base on that it's from the 50s, right? 80s and 2010. So the 2010 breakthrough, I believe the white paper by Google was published 2017. Attention is all you need. So that was, it might have even been prior to that. And I think OpenAI was founded 2018. All right, so then we have section 2 of it, quiz, nice. Flip cards, key terms, supervised learning, neural net, machine learning, algorithm. In all honesty, these are probably not that important for you to use in your work, but it is good to know just what are these, right? So we talk about machine learning and what is an algorithm, supervised and supervised learning. So this is kind of like we're getting more into the weeds of how LLMs are trained, but supervised versus unsupervised. But sorting activity. All right, so we have some examples here. We have scenario, choose best response. I like that. And then number 6, wrap up. Okay, good. So here's what we're gonna do. Okay. So we have module 1. We're now gonna go to Vercel. So here is Vercel. So basically, to get to Vercel, you need to just go to v0.dev. Okay. If you go to Vercel website, it's more for deployment, but easier is to. It is a little confusing how to get here, but doesn't matter. Okay. So again, so we have our course. We have our course. And in all honesty, so if you, I believe, if you upgrade your plan, you can actually work with Grok or other models, and it also can create images right in Vercel. So that will take out some friction here. I wanted to kind of show here completely free versions without any paid plans, just so that if you want to kind of jump in and figure out kind of how to do this for free and just mess around with it, you can, right? So if you do want to upgrade your plan, I think it's $20 a month or something similar. You could actually just use Grok and other models right in here and create images as well, which would kind of like take out the step of us having to go between Grok and V0. All right, so we're going to basically prompt it again. I am building an e-learning course, articulate rise style from scratch using Vide coding, right? I will give you text for each of the 5 modules. I want you to create the articulate rise style e-learning micro course for me. Here we will say, please ask any clarification questions when in doubt. So this is another prompt you can use that's very useful. So you can explicitly tell AI, say, hey, if you don't know something, if you're not sure, please check, because what it will generally do is it will just go ahead and kind of make up what it thinks is best statistically. So and when in doubt or not sure, or if you want to see which option is better. Okay. All right. Oops. We're going to stop it. So this is that mistake I made. Here is the module 1 of 5 text. Please create. Now, I did a little bit of, I did some homework here prior to recording this. And let's see. So this is what Vercel just built for me by itself. It also set some color schemes. So when you create a course from scratch, you do have to tell it kind of like styling. I like this. It created color scheme, approachable learning. I love that, right? It says warm colors, friendly typography, character illustrations, infographics, hand-drawn styles, layout, just conversational flow, best for companies practice accessibility and inclusivity with diverse workforce demographics. We're going to use this. So we're going to say, we're also going to please use this style. All right. And here is text for module 1. All right. And let's see what happens. Okay. Hold on a sec. We need to copy this. So here's module 1. All right. I copied the text. All right. So here we go. And let's see what happens. So here you notice that V0 is thinking. And it then tells you, let's see. All right. So let's see. So here it says I'm building an e-learning course using vibe coding. Okay. Here's the module. Oh, this is what we put into it. Okay, got it. Yep. Okay. So here's where it says, I'll create and articulate Riot style e-learning module with the approachable learning design you specified. This will include all the interactive elements from your content with warm colors, friendly typography, and engaging interactions. So you notice how there's a circle here, okay? And here you will see that there's a preview and then there's code. We can download all of our code, and basically it's generating text here. Now, if you're interested in a little bit more about the technical aspect, so basically what Vercel does is websites work with basically 4 building blocks. There's HTML, which is just how the website looks. There's CSS, which is cascade style. It's cascade style styling, basically where it tells how things will look. Where HTML will says like, hey, like this text will appear here. This is the heading. This is the body. The CSS will be the styling, and then the JavaScript. I guess that's 3, right? And JavaScript is kind of the actual programming, the interactivity. Like for example, we'll say, hey, when user clicks this button, this will happen, right? Or make this this item this particular data type or stuff like that, right? So those 3 pillars is what makes websites. And Vercel, formerly Site, I believe, basically they created a framework called Next.js, so Next JavaScript, that kind of makes the interactivity of websites way easier. And essentially, this is what they're doing, right? So there's a few things that a modern website's built with. It's usually some kind of JavaScript framework like Next.js. Ooh, runtime error. Let's see. Fix this with. Let's see. I'm not sure. So this is again. We didn't even get started yet. We didn't even get any response, and we already have an error, right? So very. I can see the issue. Google Fonts has an incomplete font weight. Okay, got it. So it created something that basically there was an issue. The weight of a font wasn't how thick the font was, and that basically made the building crash. But you notice how we didn't actually have to go figure this out. We just said fix this with v0. And it's thinking, it's generating components. All right. So the incredible thing here is that the AI is basically creating all of this for us. You notice how I did not use any programming at all. I basically, in plain English, said, hey, this is what I want you to do. So prompting really is going to be the just literacy of how things are done. And even the Guillermo Rauch, the founder of Vercel, he is really just a hardcore, amazing, incredible coder and builder and developer. And he publicly states that he doesn't even write code anymore. He vibe codes. In other words, if you can have the AI generate the majority of the code for you, and then you just basically guide it, and you can save your time of building what used to take you 100% now will take you 10%. Why not, right? So the AI tools, if you know how to use them, really increase your productivity. Right. So here it's generating. You notice that it's taking quite a lot of time. That's because it's building our overall structure, how things will look. And then as we build new modules, it will take considerably less. So you notice how here each of these numbers, right? 160, 162, 167, that is a line. So if you go to VS Code or Windsurf or anything else, or Cursor, any of these tools that help you to actually code and develop things, basically each line will be its own code. And that's what this is doing. It's creating app is our folder. So we're creating an app right now, right? And then we're creating the page text file, right? So the page text file is where all of the, the actual names will be, so that we can also see we already have a ton of code here, right? So here's a preview. Preview is still generating. So these two buttons is one and the same. So preview is what the code looks like, or the actual thing that we're building. And code is, here we go. All right, here we go. Again, we have a runtime error. We're going to fix this. Here is our code, right? So all of these different, so basically our app is, oops. Okay, so again, it's trying to use a Google font, and I think that's what's giving us a lot of trouble here. Let's see if it actually fixed it. Right, so basically we have two big folders here. App is the actual photos, and then we have the app, right? We have globals. So this is the styling for the app. Layout is how things will look. There we go. Okay, awesome. All right, so here's our first course. Okay. So this is what, when you create an articulate style, or when you articulate rise, basically what it then generates is it generates code. But so all of this is what these ports look like. Okay, awesome. Now, I kind of have a feeling. So number one, let's just scan through what I did. We have this silly emoji of module 1, introduction to AI and core concepts, discover what it is, why it matters. Okay, great progress. So it's giving us a progress here. I like this. I don't like that there's no start button. I also, I'm not crazy that, okay, so it does have, let's see, did it create? I don't think it created. All right, complete module 1. Okay, great. So we don't have modules 2 yet, so there's nothing to go to, but I like that there's the button. Now, I see that these are different pages. The only thing is I have a feeling that it doesn't load one page to the other, okay? So if you've ever used an online e-course, you usually will have section 1, you will have this page, and then you click next, click next, click next. So here, let's see, we see complete quiz question. Okay. Got it. Nice. Okay, so I really like how this looks, but you'll notice that this is really not usable, right? So obviously this is really rough. Okay, so a couple of things that I will do next as we vibe code this. Okay, we'll say this is great. Thank you. And then we're going to prompt it, right? We're going to work with it. Obviously, a question. Question. Uh, is each activity its own page, or is it all scroll down? Okay, and we're going to say our course should be one activity after the other, right? When user, and then we'll go further. We'll specify. So the flow should be when user completes a section, it's prompted to go to next section. And then we'll say, how is our current course structured? Okay. So again, you notice how I'm not doing any coding at all. I'm literally just using English language, and I'm just talking with it. Okay, so let's see. It says, great question. Let me explain how the current course is structured and then show you how to modify it for a better flow. So current structure right now, the course is one long scrollable page with all 6 sections. Okay, so as we predicted, right? So we really don't want that, right? So section 1, section 2, current issues, all sections are visible simultaneously. Users can jump around freely, no guided progression, completion button. It doesn't control flow. All right, so here's the recommended structure. For a proper articulated rise style experience, we should implement sequential flow. One section at a time, gated progress, you must complete. Yes, okay. Would you like me to structure the course to have yes or B? Okay, so here's where it's giving us options, right? This is really, really nice, right? It's giving us 3 options and it's asking us which approach would work for your learners. Okay, so this is great. This is where, okay, so option A, section by section flow, activity by activity. So show one section at a time. Next section appears. Previous section remained accessible via navigation. Okay, I like that. Each interactive element is its own page. More granular progression, better for mobile experience. Okay, and then group related content like 3 quiz questions together. Okay, I think we're gonna go with option A because that's kind of like the standard. So let's go with option A. Okay. All right, so again, we're vibe coding, we're just telling it what we want, and it does all of the code. So here, right, you'll notice that it is going to be generating code, it's changing things, and you'll notice it's already given us version 4, right? So although AI is a great tool for building, you'll notice how it's really not a one prompt type of deal. It does take quite a bit of time, and you really have to work with it, and you have to plan for a lot of debugging, a lot of issues. And again, just in case, debugging just means when there's a problem or an error. So we did have an error already twice where it says, hey, there was an issue, and we basically, but it gave us an option that says fix will be 0. We click that and it debugged it completely for us. So that's kind of the idea of vibe coding, is you're not really coding, you're just telling the LLM or the GPT what to do, and it does it for you. So let's see what it came up with here. All right. Okay, let's see. And then with all of this coding here, you'll notice how when it's done, it's going to have a plus and a minus sign, plus a number that tells you how many lines were added, and how many lines of code were taken out. Okay. So let's look at the preview. I think it's still generating. All right. It's generating page text. So, all right. All right. So it's generating. All right. And while it's generating, so if you don't have an account, when you go to v0.dev or Vercel, Vercel, you can just sign up with Google, you can sign up with GitHub. Okay, so I like this. We have now navigation. Okay. So you notice how we have previous section button here, and we have section 1. What is, okay, so let's see. Artificial intelligence, okay, work and live. Okay, what? Okay, great. Okay, so let's see, page. So you notice here it added 52 lines of code, it took away 47. Now, okay, so here a couple of problems, and this is where the debugging part comes in really, really important. So it added progress, right? We have 6 sections, right? Which is interesting because we only said 5. But we have these buttons. I'm not sure what this bar does. We'll ask it, but there's no next section. So this is where we go. Great. I'm on the first page. There is no next button, and I can't progress. All right. So basically, again, this is the vibe coding and this is the debugging, right? So it says you're absolutely right. I see the issue. The mark as complete button in section 1 isn't working properly to enable the next button. Let me fix this, right? So again, this is all in the page button. So you notice how we basically just, right, we just gave it some instructions and look at all this code. So far we have, although not every single line is a code, but we have 500 lines of code already, which is really incredible, right? And so you'll notice how, there we go, right? So it's changing code. All right. Okay. So I think our plan is going to be, we're going to get module 1 with all of the activities working. And, oops. Okay. And then we're going to continue with module 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. All right. Let's see. Preview. Okay. So here it's not really clear what I do. So what is this here? Oh, okay. Great. All right. Okay, let's reload this. So we're gonna reload. Okay. So this here, I'm not sure what, did you notice how, I bet, okay, there we go. So right now this is empty. So like the computer knows that there's text here, but it doesn't know that it's white on white and we can't see it, right? The computer can see it, but we can't. So you'll notice we just have this emoji here of a book. And it says mark as complete. Okay, so we're gonna fix that. Let's again take it step by step. So right now the styling of mark as complete is white text on white background. Okay, my learners will not be able to see this. Right. So again, we're not going to go to code and fix things. We're going to vibe code, meaning we're just going to tell the AI what to do. Right? It says you're absolutely right. Critical accessibility issue. Let me fix this styling so it's clearly visible. Right. So accessibility just means that things are really easy to see. I don't know if you've been to websites, but the colors are just too close. So like the background color and the text are so close that it's really hard to see. Someone that might not have great vision or struggles with reading will find that really, really difficult. So there are websites that basically you can push your course or your text or your website to, and it will actually give you an accessibility score. Um, but in general, just you want things to be high contrast, so they're really easy to see, and you want to try to avoid text in bright colors. You want to stick to just like whites and blacks. Okay, so let's see. Interesting. Okay, so it's still the same. So this is where it gets frustrating, right? We told it what to do, and it looks exactly the same. Um, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a screenshot. Okay. We'll take a screenshot and we're going to attach image of file, upload from computer, desktop. Here's, let's see, where is our screen recording? There we go. Okay. So this is another tool for debugging. You can take screenshots and just feed them back into the AI. We can say, please take a look. Button still looks the same white on white. Okay, so basically what AI can do is, so all of digital images are just, at the end of the day, just ones and zeros. So it can scan and it can figure out, uh, right. So it can actually, it can decipher what is in the image because they've been trained. It says, right. So now it says, I can see the issue now, right? The button is completely invisible with white text and white background. Duh, we just said that twice. Then it fixes by using more explicit styling that overrides any default button styles. So what's happening is when you have a website, you have kind of global style settings for buttons, and you can say, hey, buttons should look this way or that way. And very often things will conflict, and when things don't work, you just have overriding styles, and you need to, there we go. Okay, fantastic, right? So now it's fixed. Okay, awesome. All right, so we have, okay, awesome, good. Mark is complete. All right, awesome, right? Turns green, great, right? Good. And section complete, ready to continue. Next section. All right, fantastic, right? So now section 2. All right, interactive quiz. Answer these questions. What does AI stand for? Automated algorithm. Oh, nice. Okay, artificial intelligence. Which of these is an example of AI calculator for a basic math? Nope. Chatbot answer questions. Spreadsheets running data. Nope. So it's this one. Okay, so here's the second problem. Okay, so we're in. Okay, all right. So again, bugging, right? Debugging. We're not able to click, and our answers are not being. Oh, okay. I see the problem. So our quiz only seems to be able to, okay, all right, so we have an issue with our quiz selection. Okay, so you'll notice how I'm not able to have more than just one selection. Okay, so again, we need to be explicit in section 2. The clicking of buttons isn't working. Okay, and I'm going to say it seems that I can only select one uh, correct answer, but we have 3 questions. So we're going to be explicit. Each question, whoops, I'm going to need caps. Each question should have its own correct answer, as well as at least one clicked selection, right? So user has to select at least one answer for each question. Okay, so let's see. All right. So again, V0 is thinking. And I'm assuming the 0 means for version 0, as kind of like this is a really easy way to prototype things. Right now, if you wanted to create a really intense, very professional looking module with something like this, you probably would do it in Articulate Rise. But again, this is kind of like prototyping, and this is great for testing. Let's say you have an idea for a different kind of quiz or a different kind of learning. This is fantastic for just really just like, hey, let's spend a weekend, see how this works, test it with different people, and just see what they think, take some feedback, and then develop a more professional or really just a more detailed version. Let's see, it's thinking. Let's look at the code again. So you'll notice how everything is on this page for this course. All right, and then let's see, it's already a lot of code. We're going to ask it if we should, okay, mark as complete. Okay, so let's see, what did it say? You're absolutely right. The quiz questions are shared on the same button group. Okay, so there's the problem, right? So basically it was assigning one button group to all of the questions. So basically each question should have its own radio button group, right? Fantastic. Okay, it's telling us. So if you want to learn how to code, this is great because basically you tell it what to do. You're building something, so it's like project-based learning, and it's also explaining exactly what things are. And if you have a question, let's say on page TSX, right, line 3, or like explain section by section, right? So we're going to go to preview. We're going to test. Okay. All right. Do we want to submit an answer for each one, or do we just want one? Okay, correct. Awesome. Let's get it incorrect. Not quite right. Okay, so it tells us the correct answer. Okay, so we're going to try again. Well, like that. Chatbot answered questions. Great, fantastic. In 50s, fantastic, correct. Okay, progress, great job. Okay, awesome. Now let's see, there's our previous work. Yes, work, yes. Next. Okay, awesome. All right, so we're on section 3 of 6. Okay, we have flip cards, key AI terms, explore core AI terms by hovering over each card to reveal its definition. So I really like this, right? So even though we know what flip cards are, it's nice that it's given us like this is what you have to do. Okay, so the only thing is I don't like, I don't know if I like or don't like that it flips over me hovering or if I want to click it. Oh, usually it's a click. I kind of like the hovering. You know what? We're going to leave that. Okay. A subset. Okay, so what is machine learning? So it's a subset of AI where systems learn from data to improve performance without being explicitly programmed. All right, awesome. Yeah, and then what is unsupervised learning? Type of machine learning where the model finds patterns in unlabeled data, like sorting pile of mixed toys. Okay. All right, and then okay. So here, okay, so okay. So again, this is section 3. You notice how this button was completely white. Okay, so again, we're going to take a screenshot and we're going to say, we're going to go again, upload from computer. Where's our screenshot? Okay, that's this one. Okay, good. Okay. And this is again, section 3. In section 3, our section complete button again is white on white. So here's again, we're going to tell it, please make same as section 1, mark as complete button styling, right? So we're going to say, hey, you already fixed this in section 1. You should fix it here the same way. All right, so it's going to think. All right, it's going to think. Okay, okay, so back to Grok. While it's thinking, we're going to go to Grok and we're going to say, hey, can you come up with a thumbnail for this micro lesson course? So I'm going to see it's starting to can. All right, we can see it's thinking. It's giving us 2 versions. All right, let's see. Okay, so V0 is thinking. All right. I'm not sure. I like any of these. Let me take a look. Okay, there's a light bulb. There is people that have really strange looking eyes. Weird. Okay. What is this one here? Okay, I don't like these. Okay, I don't like these. Can you create text and simple line images and words of our course in image? And we're going to just remind it again. What was our AI fundamentals for right? AI fundamentals for non-technical. Let's see, is that what this is? Right. Let's go to the beginning. Non-technical teams. Okay, there we go. Okay. Copy this. Okay. Do not use people images. I want simple graphics. Let's see what it does here now. Okay, let's see. All right, so back to our course. Work is complete section. Artificial intelligence. Okay. Honestly, I was hesitant about having a certain answer for each one, but I kind of like that. We're gonna keep this. Okay, next section. Okay. So I like that it says I've explored these items. I don't like how it's styled different. So if you go back to here, right? Wait, or is it the same? Okay, it was orange. Let's see. And now it's blue. Okay, so in section one unclicked button was orange, and now it's blue in section 3. Can you make it orange? Orange, but change to green when clicked. All right, so it really didn't. It created blue. It will do green when completed, right? But again, I explicitly told it. Right, we did say to make it the same as section 1. So this is again where you really just have to. There's a lot of debugging, right? So it still has AI has a lot of issues of learning your intent. But all right, let's see what it came up with. Oh, there we go. I like that a lot better. Oh, this is really weird. Okay, why does it? Okay, all right. I like the image on left with things as flowers and light bulbs, but I don't like the weird hands. Take out the hands, please. All right. Okay. Orange. Yep. Okay, got it. Wait. Okay, let's see. Mark is complete. Next. Artificial intelligence. Chatbot. 50s answer. Okay, good. Next. Okay. Got it. I've explored items. Green. Good. Next. All right. Awesome. So we have items to sort. Okay. So 4 of 6. We're making progress. Okay. Sorting activity AI versus non-AI. Okay. So sort these examples into a non-example. Click buttons to move items category. Okay. So we have. Okay. So here we go. So this is another styling issue. Right. So you notice how what I did is I clicked, right? So it looks like there's nothing here, but there is. And on a side note, this is an easy way to test if someone is just blatantly cheating with ChatGPT or Grok or Claude is to basically you can make text invisible by just styling it invisible. And if someone just basically unknowingly just copies everything and pastes, you can have it all kinds of strange instructions. So all right, so basically we need to fix. All right, so we need to fix. Okay, so we're gonna just again screenshot and say, hey, the items to sort are invisible. Let's just check the visibility issue first. Let's see. Let's give it a screenshot. So you notice I'm taking a lot of. So in other words, when you use these AI tools, you really kind of have to kind of guide it, right? So the way I like to think of it of working with AI is that it can pretty much do anything, but it has a hard time knowing of what is actually really useful for us. So so the thing to do here is just keep that in mind, and that a lot of times it will do things without really knowing where the mistakes are. And this is really where you have to literally check all of your work that is done with AI, especially if you're vibe coding. If you're just like, hey, just do this, you really have to test everything, check everything, make sure that everything is working, everything is clickable. Otherwise, you're going to push something and then it will be quite embarrassing because people will be like, hey, it doesn't work, right? So, systems like Articulate Rise are fantastic because they've solved a lot of these issues for us. But, this is where if you vibe code or if you try to create things from scratch, you really have to do a lot of problem solving. All right, so here's our let's see, right? So you'll notice how it added 22 lines and it took 23 lines away, right? So we're still at about 300 lines of code. Okay. Mark is complete. Artificial intelligence, chatbot, 50s. All right, next section. Okay, I've explored. Awesome. Okay. All right, excellent. So, interesting. Okay, so instead of me dragging, it is basically creating, okay, okay, I actually kind of like this spam email filter, not AI, but system AI, facial recognition in photos. Let's say AI. Let's check our answers. Okay, so spam email filter. Okay, so spam email filter is apparently, okay, AI. Let's see, try again. Okay, AI, AI, not AI, AI, not AI. Let's check. Okay, so okay, so this is interesting. A sorting option, I've actually never seen it done before. This is really quite unique. So an articulate rise, this would just be a drag and drop. Here, it's an item sort, and you just get to select which one is which. I actually kind of like that. It's kind of neat. We're going to go to the next section. All right, so this is section 5, scenario based. Choose the best response. You're in a team meeting, and your manager asks, "How can I help our department?" Um, in your department, choose the best response, right? And here it says your department handles customer support. Response types is low to high inquiry volumes. All right, what's the best response to a manager? AI can replace all our staff to save costs. Really not a good response. As you've seen, AI can be quite dumb. And it just does really silly mistakes that a human would never make. AI can automate repetitive tasks like answering common questions, freeing us to focus on complex issues. This is probably our answer. And then AI is only for technical teams, so it won't help us, right? So I think this is our answer. Yay, correct, right? So AI is a tool. It will enhance, not replace human work. It's relevant teams. So the biggest thing with AI, basically, it could replace a lot of the grunt work. So like, for example, all this coding, right? This probably would have taken at least, I don't know, a day of coding, right? This is quite a lot, right? To code this by scratch, button by button, even with autocomplete would be quite a lot. All right, so this is section 5. Good. I'm going to go next. All right, section 6, wrap up and next steps. So congratulations, you've learned what AI is, its history, applications, key terms like machine learning, and neural networks. You're now ready to discuss AI role in a workplace with confidence. All right. We'll probably change this. You're not quite ready, right? Because we're just completed section, module 1 of 5. All right. Okay, so this is kind of confusing. It tells us section 6 of 6 completed. So there's 6 sections and progress 5 of 6 probably modules. This is confusing, but we're going to fix that later. All right. Let's go back to Grok and see what it gave us. So it's refusing to remove the arms. That's really weird. Okay. So, okay. I like this version, but it still has arms. Can you take arms completely? Okay. Okay. Awesome. All right. Fantastic. So we have our module 1 completed. Next, we're basically going to go through the same process, and we're going to work on our, let's see, where is our outline? Okay, nope. Here we go, right? So we have module 1, we have module 2 to create, module 3, 4, and 5. So we still have 4 modules to go, but essentially you notice how, right, we did not touch the code at all. We don't even know where, like we have flip cards, progress, we have different components, which is really cool. We have a page. This is kind of like the main layout of the page, right? But we didn't write or touch any code at all. We vibe coded to this LLM here, to this chat box, right? And V0. And it says, hey, do this, fix this. This isn't working. I want this changed. And that's essentially what vibe coding is. So we will come back to next modules after a short break.